The Meat Puppets are a band that defies easy categorization. Known for their unique blend of punk rock, alternative, and psychedelic influences, the Arizona-based band gained a cult following with their distinctive sound and eclectic style. But behind their groundbreaking music lies an equally unique origin story: the origin of their band name, which is as unconventional and surprising as their music itself. In this article, we'll dive into how the Meat Puppets got their name, a story that involves humor, spontaneity, and a touch of irreverence. The Meat Puppets were formed in 1980 in Phoenix, Arizona, by brothers Kurt and Chris Kirkwood, who were later joined by drummer Derek Bostrom. They were influenced by the burgeoning punk rock scene of the time, but quickly carved out their own identity, blending experimental sounds with elements of folk, country, and psychedelia. But despite their musical innovation, the band's name had a much more lighthearted beginning. The origin of the name Meat Puppets came about during a conversation between Kurt and Chris Kirkwood. According to the brothers, the name was chosen spontaneously and humorously, with no intention of carrying any deep or profound meaning. The term Meat Puppets was a phrase that the brothers had heard used in a casual, offhand way. It was not a phrase they had any particular attachment to, but they found it amusing, so they decided to adopt it as their band name. It was meant to be silly, strange, and attention-grabbing, just as their music was. The Kirkwood brothers have said in interviews that they didn't give much thought to the implications of the name. It was chosen more for its quirkiness and its ability to stand out rather than any philosophical or artistic reasons. In fact, the name Meat Puppets was meant to be somewhat ridiculous, playing on the absurdity of the concept itself. The brothers often joke that the name was meant to be as absurd as the music they were making. They wanted something that sounded odd, quirky, and unpretentious, which reflected the experimental nature of their music. Interestingly, the band's name also stood in stark contrast to the serious and often brooding names of other punk or alternative bands of the time. While many bands used names that carried a sense of rebellion or anger, the Meat Puppets name was playful and nonsensical. It didn't fit into the typical mold of punk rock band names, which made it even more intriguing to fans and critics alike. Over time, the name Meat Puppets became synonymous with the band's unique approach to music. Their sound was as unpredictable and varied as their name, drawing on everything from classic rock to experimental noise. Their ability to fuse different genres together, along with their off-kilter sense of humor, made them stand out in the alternative rock scene of the 1980s and 1990s. One of the key moments that helped elevate the band's profile was their collaboration with Nirvana during the recording of Nirvana's MTV Unplugged performance in 1993. The Meat Puppets played an integral role in the performance, and Kurt Cobain even invited Kurt and Chris Kirkwood to join Nirvana on stage to perform some of their songs. This collaboration brought the Meat Puppets' music to a wider audience, and their name, once considered an inside joke, became known to millions of listeners around the world. In conclusion, the name Meat Puppets is a testament to the band's playful, irreverent spirit, chosen more for its absurdity and humor than any deep meaning. The name reflects the band's ability to blend the unusual with the meaningful. The Meat Puppets have always been about pushing boundaries and defying expectations, and their name is an embodiment of that philosophy. It's a name that perfectly captures their eclectic sound and willingness to experiment, while also reminding us that sometimes the most memorable things come from the most unexpected places.